Okay, today I want to talk about some of the ingredients that are added to our food items as we become more and more health conscious. We're reading our food labels and we're understanding some of the things that are included that are not the best for us to be consuming. So we're going to look at a few of them today. Now, my go-to verse is 3 John 2, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. First one I want to attack is natural flavors. And this ingredient is found in so many food items. I was just shocked. Almost every other item I took out of my cupboard had natural flavors listed as one of the ingredients. Natural flavors are used to enhance or to improve the taste of food. It can be addicting, and knowing that, we ask, well, how natural is it then? Well, they are actually derived from natural sources, whether it be plants or animals, but then they are mixed with certain chemicals and solvents to develop the flavor that a particular company is looking for. Now, the frightening thing is that the FDA does not require companies to reveal what is actually included in these natural flavors. And so they can have effects on our bodies that we can't even pinpoint because we do not know what they are. So it's probably best for us to avoid them. Brominated vegetable oil, it's been modified with bromine, which is a chemical element, and it is used as an emulsifier in sodas and sports drinks. And it's actually used to keep the citrus flavor from floating to the top of the liquid. It is potentially harmful to some of our organs, including our liver, the heart, and the thyroid gland, and can lead to neurological problems. Now, this ingredient has been banned, but can still be found in certain sodas that are still on the market today. Red dye number 3. This one is sometimes listed as red dye 3, F, D, and C, red number 3, or E127. This dye gives food a bright red color. It is found in processed foods like candies, sodas, cereals, baked products, and it is even included in drugs like cough syrups and tablets that we take. It is potentially harmful to the thyroid. It is cancer-causing. A test was done, and they looked at how it affected rats when consumed in high doses. It was stated that it causes cancer, okay? Now, the FDA they amended their color additive regulations to no longer allow for the use of this dye in food and ingested drugs. However, this amendment does not become effective until January 2027 for food items and January 2028 for ingested drugs. So you will still find food items on the shelves containing red dye number 3. Potassium bromate, known to be a carcinogenic to humans. It's a chemical compound and is found in crystals or powder, white crystals or powder. It goes by other names like bromic acid or potassium salt, used in baked products like cookies, tortillas, and breads. Now, this one has been banned in several countries, and California was one of those states that came out and banned it. And the FDA is now proposing to ban its use nationwide. Titanium dioxide. This one is used to achieve the whiteness in food items like salad dressings, frozen pizzas. It's used in our cosmetics, it's used in feminine products, it's used in our toothpaste. It can also be called by different names based on its crystalline structure, okay? The nanoparticle-sized titanium dioxide can actually accumulate in the body break down our DNA strands and can cause chromosomal damage. It is also considered a carcinogen. Titanium dioxide is banned in European countries, actually. There was so many countries that banned its use. But in this country, it is still considered to be safe as a regulated color additive. Another common one that is found in many processed foods, high fructose corn syrup, used in dessert items, candies, sodas, juices, so many. This item can only be processed by the liver. And if we're consuming it, in high doses, it can lead to overloads with the liver and can ultimately cause liver disease. Eating too much of it can lead to insulin resistance, can cause obesity and type 2 diabetes. Carrageenan, extracted from seaweed and processed with alkaline substances. It is used as a stabilizing and emulsifying agent. And again, another one that is used in many food products, even in some almond milk. And I throw that in there because, I had a brand that I liked. And when I found this out and went to check, sure enough, there it was. And I, never noticed it before. So I had to switch. Now, this is approved by the FDA, even though it is known to cause digestive issues like bloating and irritable bowel disease. I'm going to take a look at some common oils that we might want to avoid. Palm oil, very high in saturated fat, can cause heart problems. Vegetable oil, and many people use this one, it's a mix of oils. Linoleic acid, which is an omega-6 fatty acid, is a primary fatty acid found in vegetable oil. Because of the high volume of omega-6, it is said that it's one of those oils that you want to avoid because too much omega-6 in the diet relative to omega-3 can lead to chronic inflammation, okay? What has happened over the years is that our diets, we're not consuming enough omega-3 foods in our diet, but we're consuming an overload of the omega-6. Canola oil, also known as rapeseed oil, it is a heavily processed oil. It is sourced from GMO crops, and this oil has no nutritional value. The other one is a soybean oil, which is widely produced in this country. It is found that consuming this oil can actually lead to obesity, diabetes, and it can also affect neurological conditions like autism, Alzheimer's disease, anxiety, and depression. Corn oil, also called maize oil, is created from GMO crops. It is a highly refined oil, and this oil too is high in omega-6, and it can cause damage to the liver. The next ingredient I want to look at, this one to me is so hilarious, citric acid. Now, naturally, we can get our citric acid from citrus fruits like limes, lemons, grapefruit, and to a lesser degree, strawberries, tomatoes, pineapples, okay? But since the early 1900s, 99% of the citric acid that we're getting in our foods has been developed from Aspergillus niger, or Niger, some people pronounce it. This citric acid is produced from black mold. So black mold, this fungus is fed sugar and it produces a tangy, sour taste, okay? And citric acid is used in so many food items and condiments, too many. It's also used in some of our drugs, okay? It's used as a preservative and as a disinfectant. Now, I could not find a whole host of side effects. What I did find was that some people might experience some adverse reactions when they consume foods that contain citric acid. It can also break down the enamel of our teeth, okay, if it's consumed in high amounts. And so dentists might recommend that if you consume foods that contain citric acid, you want to rinse your mouth out once you're done. I don't know about you, but the fact that this item is developed from a fungus, the black mold, I don't even want to hear about what other adverse reactions there are. I just want to try to avoid it. All right. Some of my references as I looked at this list of ingredients that we want to avoid include chemical safety facts.org, consumerreports.org, ewg.org, fda.gov, healthline.com, realfoodbar.com, and nj.gov. It behooves us to really research to understand what it is we are eating. Thank you.